So I'd like to talk to you about the most important relationship you'll ever have. And that is your relationship to grace. Now you can use your own word for that. You might use the word God, Source, Spirit, whatever word you have for that. It is the most important relationship you'll have. And it goes right to the core, which is why I call this program Hardcore. I love the image of the heart. I've always been fascinated by hearts, and if you were in my room right now with me, you'd see little hearts everywhere. I have the whole house is covered in hearts, and I've always doodled little hearts since I was a little kid, and the older I get, the more I realize why I do that, because it really, the heart is the, you could say, the portal into both our human dimension and also our divine dimension. You could say the human dimension is this vertical dimension, and actually this is a horizontal dimension, and then the divine dimension is the vertical dimension. So the horizontal dimension is about time and space and our humanity and feelings, and it's, you know, there's a lot going on here, right? Feelings and wounds and challenges and heartbreaks and limitations in time and space. And then the vertical dimension is the dimension of grace, and the heart is right in the center. And the more we open to our humanity, the more we open to our divinity, and the more we open to our divinity, the more we open to our humanity. And the heart holds it all. And that's why I call this program Hardcore, and I call it core because it really goes, we need to go to the core of everything. We need to go deep. And now we all want access to that great heart, right? The heart of God, the heart of grace. It's the place where all graces flow from. It's the source of everything. And yet, you know, all this love, compassion, wisdom that we experience, for example, in core workshops or core trainings, we tap into this unbelievable love and oneness and grace and spaciousness and wisdom and compassion and aliveness, right? These workshops are such incredible spaces where we realize who we really are. And then there's, you know, and then there's our daily life, and we experience blocks, and I just want to tell you about a few of them. One of them is we guard our heart. We are unwilling to feel. That's why workshops are so powerful, because we actually take you into feeling feelings, right? And you realize, oh, that is such a gateway into an opening to grace, right? Just to allow our feelings. And normally we're guarded, we're protected, we're in our survivor self, and we don't allow ourselves to feel feelings, or we get totally swept away by them and believe that that's all there is, right? And wisdom is really to neither repress feelings nor, you know, act out on them, but to know that they're just meant to be a portal into grace, into this great heart, right? Another block might be that we are mistrustful of our own goodness, the goodness of others, and the goodness of God or grace or spirit. We're seeing all the suffering in this world, and we go like, this can't be good. There can't be a loving source of all this. This is terrible. So we're mistrustful, and again, we get defended, we get guarded. And over the decades, over the years, there's more and more and more and more protection in front of our heart, because there's unfinished grief, trauma, hurt, wounds. In the wounded self that we always talk about at core, there's unfinished material that needs to still be dealt with, that needs to be healed, right? So that all is all that is blocking our access to grace, right? And for some of us, we may be even dealing with spiritual, religious trauma. You know, we maybe have we may have grown up in an environment that what they taught us about God and love and our own humanity wasn't great, made us really mistrustful of all this spiritual stuff. Or we may have grown up with no knowledge of it at all, which happens now a lot. If you're kind of a younger person, you may have no idea about prayer, meditation, grace. Any of it is completely not part of your reality because it was never taught to you by your parents or your environment, or that this even exists, that there even is a spiritual dimension, right? So all that creates a block to this very natural access to our greater heart. Yes, so and when we are blocked, right, and then we walk around so limited, so just reactive. Basically, here's the deal: if we don't surrender to grace, if we don't let go into that great heart, into that beautiful spiritual heart, what we let go into, what we surrender into is our survivor self, our ego. We just walk around obedient to the voices in our head, which are not very nice. They're judgmental and harsh. They're often self-critical. They're often really judgmental of other people, very divisive, fearful, contracted. It's like this, right? That's how we walk around. So we either surrender to that great heart, the ground of our being, God, Spirit, Source, or we surrender to that little me, that survivor self story that's telling us we're all alone in a hostile world and we got to make it. We got to survive. We got to protect ourselves. We got to defend ourselves. Now, I'm not saying that there's not times when we need to use wise discernment and need to protect ourselves. But what I am saying is that this is usually much, much less than we think. Most of the time, we are objectively safe. And there's no reason to guard ourselves. And then there are situations we need to remove ourselves from, people we need to not be around. But I'm telling you that actually much, 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 much less than our survivor self tells us. So this is something really important, why I created this program, to help us all gain greater access to grace, to love, to Spirit, to Source, to God, so we can plug back in and have this natural availability to what we love the most. What's the source of all love? What's the portal to everything we want? Really, everything you want, everything you ache for, everything you long for, where it breaks your heart, that makes you wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and it's like aches, right? Whether that's great sex or a great relationship or lots of money or whatever it is, like to be free, to be really alive, to be beautiful, whatever it is that you're really longing for, everything, and the deepest part of all that is found in grace, and only there. If we keep chasing it on the outside, we'll just be continually chasing. It's like a carrot that's right here, and we never reach. When we reach inside into that inherent connection with grace, out of a sudden that survivor self relaxes, the wounds heal, and we don't even really need anything. That's the amazing place. It's like we're fulfilled with very little, and everything, and we see what's already here. So that's where we're going in the hardcore. We'll go through, and the way I've structured this is that it's a 6-month program where you will have both group interaction and one-on-one coaching with me. This is actually the only program where I provide one-on-one coaching sessions, because there's something that we go through together as a group in a because it's not just about me, it's about we, it's about all of us, and there's not a kind of just personal awakening that is like we do this together. So that's why it's important to be doing it in a group. And there will also be a monthly touchstone that I have with you where I check in with you, but particularly your journey and what's blocking your access to grace, and how can I help you work through that, and you know, whether that's healing that you need, personal healing, or just a different way of being, or just a different way of seeing something. So I can really get in there with you, you know, and we can go to your very personal journey. And then there's the group field, the group energy, there will be group teachings or group coachings, and you will have a buddy, and there will be accountability, and there will be monthly practices. We'll go through one pillar a month, and there'll be monthly practices, monthly inquiry. We'll use holistic inquiry, a tool that I just love, and it's such a portal to open to grace. It's such a beautiful way to inquire into those blockages, and also to inquire into and open to what's already beautiful, true, and good in us. Like, it really opens the door to that. So it's just a powerful tool that we use throughout. And don't worry if you don't know about it, I'll teach it to you. And so this connection between both group, you will work in a group, you will work one-on-one with me, and you will work in diets with other like-minded deep divers like you. All that together for half a year, I'll promise you, you will have greater access to grace after this. And that, to me, is what brings me the most joy. So I can't wait to be there with you and to have you with me. And feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Details to everything is below or above, somewhere here on the website. And lots and lots of love.